Do you think that that might just turn into Liverpool's disadvantage, or does it turn into their favour? Which at this point we're struggling, and the club might be for sale as well.
Now is the perfect time to sell.
You think so?
Yeah, because it doesn't destabilize anything, because this is a throwaway season. Like, unless they go and do something amazing in the Champions League, which they've done before. They finished 5th before and won the Champions League. Actually, I found out that in the 80s as well, they finished 5th one season, won like the European Cup. So they might go and do something crazy, because those European nights at Anfield are a different gravy, you know. But in terms of what we've seen of late, where they're putting 90 points on the board and they're challenging Manchester City for the title, this is not that season. And if they came out with these news where they were in the thick of a title race, you'd ask yourself, what are you guys doing? So it's that fact. It's the fact what you're talking about in terms of Klopp. It's the fact that Liverpool fans are not the biggest fans of like FSG, you know, because they feel that if you see a Manchester City who went and won, sorry, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of like Pep Guardiola's interview when and then they go and spend 100 million. He said they don't have any money. They go and spend 100 million on Jack Grealish. Then they go and they buy Haaland. And lest we forget, Calvin Phillips plays for Manchester City. We haven't seen him, but he plays for Manchester City, you know. Having won the EPL, they go and they do this. And Liverpool fans, rightly so, feel aggrieved that why are we not, when we've not even won, why are we not getting the players who are going to get us over the line?
Especially how
putting
it
us
ended
over the
last
top
season,
of Manchester City. Exactly.
Which we were right there.
Because we know the players that Liverpool fans want. They want Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is going to cost maybe 100 and something million, you know? And the Mbappe thing keeps being up in the air. Like, I don't see it, but if oil money comes into Liverpool, all bets are off at that point.
True.
Then Klopp goes with his shopping list to the owners, and he gets Bellingham, he gets Mbappe, and whoever else that he feels that he needs to actually win the title, be competitive in the entirety of his time there. Because in terms of what FSG did, they won everything. Liverpool won everything with them as owners, so the optics of it looked like they've been good owners. Relative to the Glazers, I'd say yes. Relative to what Stan Kroenke has done up to this point at Arsenal, I'd say yes as well. But the big thing for them has been Klopp coming to Liverpool.
Yes.
And I want to say, Chuck, that was a low-hanging fruit, because at the time, this was a season removed from the Gerrard slip where they were challenging for the title. Suarez had then gone, and they reverted back to Liverpool, you know. And then they fired Brendan Rodgers, who happens to be out there on the market needing a job. Klopp. It was a no-brainer, Chuck. Yes, it wasn't that they tampered or they were ambitious and they went and got him while he was making Champions League finals with Dortmund. Nah, because for me, I wanted Klopp at Arsenal. You know, unfortunately at the time, the owner of Arsenal, Arsene Wenger, did not want to leave on his own terms, because had he gone, then maybe there's a bidding war for Klopp. We see what happens with that. But then Liverpool had a free run on Klopp. And then he comes in and he transforms the club, you know, and they reap the benefits as the ownership group. And then now those benefits go to the point where they're going to make a tremendous return on investment on this Liverpool team. And having seen what Chelsea went for, you see what the market is, you know, and Liverpool are a bigger team than Chelsea, in my opinion. Maybe not commercial-wise, but in terms of the stature of the actual club. So they should be able to get. There were guys, we should remember, that missed out on buying Chelsea. Those guys are going to come right back in to want to buy Liverpool. So they will get their money, and this is a great business venture for them. And I am scared that it might be another state that comes in to buy Liverpool. And once again, we are like asking for funds to compete.
Because we're still trying to rebuild. But I think, as you're saying with the low-hanging fruit, there was Klopp. They got the perfect guy. Because if you think about it, he's the one guy who they can say, Ntona, it's 50 million, plan. Whereas Pep is like, well, Haaland, Grealish, I want to win things, you know? And he's been able to, I think it was 2 seasons back where he didn't make a single signing and still mounted a challenge. He's able to say, I can make this work, you know? And that bodes well for a team that's not going to spend the cash. Because other teams, like United will say, that's not money, but then for Casemiro, for Anthony. And when you look at what those guys have actually added, Anthony still needs to prove himself. Casemiro is a good signing, and Eriksen's a good signing, but the other people that we've signed before, starting to prove themselves. Ronaldo, Manje, struggling and other things, and you're like, whereas with Liverpool, they've been able to streamline everything, and with the guidance of Klopp as well, to here's what I want to do, here's what I want to put with my team, let's go forward. But the thing is, Donna, the question is that I have in my head now is it, and I know the manager plays a big role, but is it the manager or is it the ownership? Because if they sell into different ownership, can Klopp maintain the success in terms of who he works with, and can he continue this run in Liverpool? Or is it a thing of which if FSG continue without Klopp, then the Liverpool crumble? Do you think, who's the bigger factor, you think?
Klopp is a great coach. You give him great players, he's going to get you results.
Yeah, as simple as that.
I think it's that simple. So if the new ownership group comes in and they tell him you can get whatever you want, and he goes and he gets exactly what he wants, they're right back there.
Yeah.
They're right back there. Because if you think about like a Trent, for example, if Trent is out of form or is injured, who's coming in for him? You know, you look at City, like they have a Cancelo who can play on both sides. Walker is out, but they don't miss him because of that.
Yep.
You know, and now we see them having your Kanjis, you have your Akes, and Stones can be injured, Laporte can be injured, Diaz can be injured,
Like
but it's
they put
fine.
Diaz and Laporte on the bench because they could.
They were playing Haaland on the bench. Yes, he was starting he had a niggling injury, but you have Alvarez who comes in for him, and this is a guy who scored 6 goals one time, I think, in the Libertadores, you know, and he scored goals even in that match against Fulham. So if you are serious about contending against that, you have to have the resources to do that. They do have that in the form of the coach, and they had it in terms of players, but the ownership, if that is also matched up, then that rivalry continues.